Welcome to The Ripple Within, a podcast by All-in-One Life Coaching. I'm Michelle, a certified life coach specializing in mindset, emotional wellness, and the law of attraction. I work with people to help create the narrative around their desired outcome.
And I'm Kathy. I'm here to ask the questions, explore the patterns, and share the real life moments that make this all, make sense.
This podcast is about the connection between how we feel and the physical reality we experience every day. We'll explore how our thoughts lead to outcomes and how narrative shifts can create big change.
We'll keep it grounded using logic and lived experience, not just theory. And if you've ever wondered why you feel stuck, reactive, or out of sync with yourself, you're not alone.
Our life experience will always match how we feel. This podcast is about exploring our ripple within, how our thoughts, emotions, beliefs, and values contribute to the physical life we live. Let's get into it. Welcome back, everyone. All right, Kathy, what have you got for us today?
Okay, so how do we, the saying that you should never meet your, because it can be, maybe it'll let you down, all that sort of stuff. People that absolutely respect intimidate the crap out of me. And so I struggle with A, having a conversation, and B, not saying something stupid, even though we say there can never be any wrong words. There's wrong words. So I'll give you an example. There's a gentleman in our company who everybody says he's wonderful, and he is. Like, I can see that he's kind and he's wonderful, but I just clam up like a shell. I know that's hard for some people to believe, but yeah, I'm so intimidated by him. There was a time I met Kevin Martin, one of the world's greatest curlers ever, in an airport,
Yeah.
and I totally fanned out on him, and I left the conversation feeling like I was a total dork, like just an absolute dork. And then I met Stuart Skinner once, also in an airport. I know I spend too much time in airports. I don't hang out looking for you guys, by the way, just so you don't think of. Anyways, and there were so many things. I congratulated them on, making it to and all that sort of stuff. But it walked away going, oh my gosh, I such a, told them how it happens to me a lot. Normal people, I can sometimes go into somebody's office party, a friend's office party or something, not know anybody, and be okay. But with people like that, I just not okay. I'm so not okay. So even though I believe in this happiness and well-being and all that sort of thing, I work on my language. And then it comes to meeting somebody like that, and it's like, those birds in the cartoons, it's like they're carrying my brain directly out of my head as soon as I see somebody like that. And then I'm just, anyways, there you go. There's a topic. Let's do that.
Okay. So a few things within that to unpack. So a couple of things that you said are that you practice and you work on your language, which is a wonderful thing because it is something we talk about a lot, about making sure that narrative that we're using meets the desired outcome. So I have a question though. If we work on our language and then the language, where in the bucket is your language coming from? So let me ask it in a better way. It isn't really the language that we're trying to pay attention to. The language is just going to be created. It's the emotional state of being that we're in that dictates our language. So it's why we want to be choosy when we're creating a narrative and talking about the things we want to have happen and create pre-planning that environment we want to experience. Now, obviously, you didn't plan on seeing Skinner or Martin at the airport. Those actually line up with what we talk about here about us getting to experience those things that we have no idea are actually going to be super pleasing to us, maybe even meet that fandom thing that you talked about. It makes sense when we meet people, particularly celebrity people that we generally don't have access to on a regular basis, where we might be a little nervous. We could be a little bit, oh my gosh, this is wild. And when we talk about it from that perspective, let's think about that in terms of this. So if we're nervous, if we see somebody and then we become nervous, where are we on this scale?
Definitely below the line. Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, it's super excited that, I'm walking the same ground that they're on, or even in the same 20 square foot area that they're in. And then I just,
Well, let's
yeah.
talk about that a little bit. What makes their ground better to walk on than yours?
I watched Kevin Martin curl years, and then I continued to listen to him when he moved on to commentating. His personality when he was curling was one of the things that made it so enjoyable for me to watch and gave me that happiness. Then when I saw him in the airport, I mean, my instinct was to just go give him a hug and tell him how great, fantastic he is. And, what I mean, gold medal curling. Like, just tell him.
Yeah. Yeah, always a good thing. Let's not
Right?
attempt to hug people in airports. Great,
Yeah,
great
yeah. Most,
restraint on your part.
I think, felt like I wasn't being me either. Do you know what I mean?
Mm.
Like,
Okay,
yeah,
let's talk about
right?
that. Who's you?
Usually a happy,
Mm.
bubbly person. I can be professional. Even the same with the gentleman at work. I I really need to think about words that are coming out of my mouth. And then you mate and then you mate Kevin Martin or Stuart Skinner in an airport, and it's like, oh my God, I don't have that pre-planning. Like, I do pre-planning before I go to the office in case I happen to run into said gentleman. I even did that at the company Christmas party. I pre-planned on the way there so I wouldn't, you know, and then someone like Kevin Martin and Stuart's get surprise, here you are. And I just,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah. And I'm like, 6-year-old kid Googling it.
So,
Yeah.
so what do you think is wrong in that though?
I would like to have a conversation with people like that to be able to let them know how wonderful of an impact they have made in my life experience. It Jeff,
Why do you need them to know that?
because they are, it's Kevin Martin Stewart. Come on.
Why do you need them to know that?
I think part of it, I think for Stuart Skinner at least, they just finished, game 7, second year in a row. Lots of talk always about goaltending, that sort of thing. And I wanted him to know how much I appreciated everything that he's done and the impact that he made on the team to be able to do that. I mean, it's a team sport. We'll know that it's a team sport, takes everybody, right? Oh, I see. It's my intent.
Mm.
Dang
Aha,
it.
we're getting it. I love it though.
Dang it.
But let's keep going a little bit within that, because there's nothing wrong with telling somebody you respect them and you appreciate their gameplay, and there's just nothing wrong with that. As a matter of fact, I would encourage more of us to be out there rooting for and supporting and spreading the love, so to speak. It becomes tricky when we can't answer the why. And I mean that from a perspective of, why do you feel the need to express to a hockey player or to a curler or to somebody at work? Why do you feel the need to let them know how great they are and how much of an impact they have on you? Like, what we need to get to that, so that when you do speak it, then it is coming truly from within you. The reason why it gets wobbly for people, and it's going to happen to every person on the planet. The reason why it gets wobbly is because we don't know why we're really doing it. And one of the reasons we might be using as to why we're doing it isn't unconditional. So it's
Unconditional.
why we become
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's why we become awkward, for example. And there's so much to learn from that, because it happens to everybody, where we might become a little awkward or seem to be a little weird, but there's still things we can do about that as well. Once Until we've determined what it is we really want to convey and what that means to us to be able to convey it, we'd really only do that probably one time. We're not going to continue to see, for example, the person from work. We're not going to continue to see them, and then every time we see them, express,
Yeah.
you've
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
made such
Yeah.
an,
Yeah. Yeah.
you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, we
Yeah.
really
Yeah.
only
Yeah.
want to do it
Yeah.
a couple of times for it to be truly meaningful and have that sort of impact. So let's work through why you want to be able to say to whoever you meet, but particularly to those people you respect a lot, why do you want them to know
Well,
this?
while you were speaking, number one, it would make me feel fantastic to let them know.
Yeah. Tell me why it'll make you feel
It'll make me
fantastic.
damn happy.
Tell me, get deeper. Why is it going to make you happy? What is it going to do?
I get to talk to them. I mean, I get to have a
Okay.
conversation with them, right?
Okay.
Um, that's all I got. I get to have a conversation. I mean,
But so
simple, right? Yeah,
yeah, and that's really good, right? Because we're not doing it for any other
yeah,
reason really than it's going to make me feel good to be able to do it, and I get to have a conversation, maybe brief, but a conversation
right.
with
Yeah.
somebody. Those are really good reasons to want to speak to somebody that you admire. It would become tricky, and I don't know the circumstance. We're just going to give the tricky side for people who may be watching. It would become tricky for us if we want to have a conversation with someone so that they recognize something within me.
No,
That's when it can become
yeah,
wobbly.
I wasn't thinking about that, but I did think that when you said my intent needed to be unconditional, and I believe that you're right. My intent was not unconditional, and it was not unconditional because I wanted them to feel better too, and
Ooh, chills.
I can't control that. So within that, I mean, especially Stuart Skinner, I wanted him to feel better knowing that, and I know there's probably thousands of fans that, but knowing that that, this one person that was in his moment in time really liked him and appreciated what, you know,
But how many words does it take to really express that?
when you're,
Right. Because we didn't really have clarity in what we wanted to say,
yeah,
right? So we didn't have complete clarity in what we wanted to say and convey, and that place that I wanted to be in to do it. And it's when you become so in tune with your own well-being and what's in your best interest and what's in the best interest of others, is sometimes just to be able to go, holy cow, I think you're amazing, and then walk away. There's no
See.
reason for us to give flawed. Why? Better words. Okay, so there's no real reason for us to have to give a lengthy description to how, especially in passing, to how somebody impacts us, more than saying a handful of words to them and truly meaning it, of course. Like
Yeah, yeah,
we really do want to mean it. So when we're in public and when we feel confident, so that's a couple of things. Confidence is going to help you be able to create that narrative when we do see somebody, because again, you do fly and you do go places. The likelihood of seeing somebody again is pretty real. So when we can remember that our intention is simply, it's going to make me feel good to be able to tell that person that I think they're great. No other reason. And something you said a little bit about Skinner is we are almost implying that he needs the extra support because of some of the backlash that might be happening with commentators and fans and other people around.
Yeah, that's probably true. In any interview you watch with him, though, he's similar. He he has the right words. Like, he's so aware of himself and his
Yeah.
thoughts and his feelings that I probably just should have walked out and went, "You're freaking fantastic," and walked away. That's not what happened. But now I know I'm gonna check myself and I'm gonna make sure I know where I'm at so that my intent is unconditional, even though no, even though. I'm just
Yeah,
gonna
the
make
even
so
though doesn't
yeah,
matter.
yeah,
Yeah.
just gonna make sure, and then the right words will just be.
They'll
Yeah,
just flow.
yeah, yeah,
They really will, because what happens to us as people when we take that pressure off of ourselves, number one, to say the right thing, to be the right thing, we just can't know, again, number one, where they are on the scale.
right.
We can't know. And if they're flying high, then really there would be nothing you could say or do that's going to upset them anyway. Because if they're living up here, they don't notice the odd. What they notice was, oh my gosh, how fun was that?
Gotcha.
If they're playing here, and if they're having, maybe they've come off a bad game or something like that, and they have to travel to a new city and they're not, who knows what it is. But if they're even possibly playing in here, which again, we can't know, sometimes we can tell by their face. Like if somebody's down in the rabbit holes, we can see it. But people are pretty good at masking the visual effects of their emotions. So if that person is down here and we come in hot, number one, we're going to feel not great about the way we did it, but then they're not going to appreciate it either. Now we really do just become that crazy fan that they're like, oh, here's another one, and I gotta get out of here because I don't want to deal with this. And again, we can't know
Right.
where
Yeah,
other
yeah.
people are at. What we want to focus on is where are we at when we go do it? And you said it perfectly, right? What is our intention? What am I hoping to achieve from this? And truly, in those situations, our answers really need to be, I just want them to know how great they are,
Yeah.
period.
And you're right. I mean, that little thought pops into my head. God, they're celebrity. I'm sure they get this from like a million fans. Is it, do they really want one more fan going up to them and telling
Right,
them, wanting to have a conversation, telling them how great they are, blah, 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 blah. Like, do they really want that too? And you know what I mean? Like that whole,
right.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah.
Well, and so that narrative too is
Yeah.
here because we're talking ourselves out of doing something we actually want to
Yeah.
do. And there's really no human on the planet that can do that and feel good. We can't want to go up to Skinner and say, I think you're great and love having you here in Edmonton. You can't want that and then, you know, wobbling back and forth of, oh, but should I? Maybe I shouldn't. There's too many people. Da. And then you realize the window might be
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
closing
Yeah.
because he's got to move
Yeah. Yeah.
on.
Yeah.
And so now the window is closing a bit. So now we're rushing to get it out. And then we have, you know, we spill
Purple
out a
time.
bunch of words where we walk away going, what the frick was that? Where was I? Where did that come from? And then you get to spend your flight going, oh man, I wish I
Yeah.
could do that over again. And it's,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah.
And again, I mean, there's really nothing wrong with it. The wrongness becomes when you leave a situation and then beat yourself up for how you responded or acted or behaved within the situation.
Yeah.
And there's a couple of things that are happening within that. You're beating yourself up, but you're also now believing that they're beating you up
Yeah.
too.
Yeah. Making it up in my head. I mean, the exchange seemed wonderful and pleasant, and he smiled, and 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 then
Of
I
course.
walked away going, well,
Right, right. So
yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
so what we really want to be able to get to is particularly for the person at work because you are going to see
Yeah.
that person again.
True.
And again, there's nothing wrong with telling people that you admire them and you appreciate them and thanking them. There's absolutely wonderful things to do. But with that as well, you need to be able to answer why it's important for you to be able to do that. And I'm assuming we're not writing a book about why it's important. And from a work perspective, you might want to be able to say that we appreciate being able to even be employed by this organization. We appreciate their philosophies in the organization. We appreciate how welcoming it is and how we feel valued as employees. I mean, they're going to love to hear that. It's again, though, one of those things where we get to say that. And then next time we see them, it's like, hey, good morning, good afternoon. How are you? Nice to see you. We're not looking to necessarily do it again and again and
Yeah. Yeah.
again and again. So with the person from work, with your newfound clarity in the last 10, 15 minutes, how would you approach it now at work?
Well, I'm not going to be totally 100% scared to death, but I
Yeah.
am going to pre-plan in my head on the drive to the office, and just when you see him, say this. When you see him, say this. Like, I know you have to kind of go in the moment and go with the flow too. I'm not going to search him out. That's for damn sure. But if
Would
I,
that be Would that be scripted though? You want to script a heartfelt conversation with someone?
yeah, no, no, because that's not me. That's not my personality either, right? Like, that's not,
Exactly.
yeah,
It is not you. And you really are your best when you're your true self. We just got to get to what your true self really is in those moments. Is it your true self really to be over the top? And I mean, I don't think that's your true self. I think you like to have fun. I think you like to be maybe a little bit of the life of the party. Which is wonderful, wonderful things. Those are wonderful things. But you can still have fun, express gratitude, be thankful without scripting it. It's why when you're in your car on your way to work, planning for a conversation you might have, you may not see the person. I feel like right? You may not
Yeah.
see them. They could not be there. They could be in meetings. They could be on vacation. They could be just, they might not even be there. So you're going to work your way into a script that you might not actually use. Whereas if you, in the car on your way to work, if you were working on and identifying within yourself your emotional state, where am I at? Okay, well, I'm feeling pretty good. Doesn't matter who I run into. I am here. I'm feeling confident. I'm feeling like it's a good day. I'm feeling like we're going to accomplish a lot. I'm feeling grateful for this place I get to go to. Then you walk in the door, you see that person, you're like, oh, good morning. Oh, yeah, just wanted to say, really appreciate being here. Keep walking or whatever,
Yeah.
right? I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah.
obviously
Yeah.
you'll
Yeah.
do what you
Yeah.
do, but the words will flow then, because again, it's completely unconditional. You just happen to see that person, where if you plan too much in the car,
Sure.
we're now making it a conditional environment,
Uh,
because again, we also don't know what kind of day they're having. And I'm
right.
kind of assuming that I know who we're talking about, that they are, as you said, like a high level person within the organization. With that is a lot of stress. There's a lot of decisions. There's a lot of back-to-back meetings. There's a lot on their plate. So we don't want to do it for their benefit. They'll reap the byproduct of it. They will. We want to do it for what feels best for us to do. And again, not to get some sort of particular outcome. That's not why we're doing that. That'll be the happy byproduct. But we're just doing it because, hey, I just really want you to know that I appreciate getting to come here every day, and just wanted to thank you, and whatever that might look like.
That makes much more sense than my flubble butt. I mean, it might still happen. Uh, but I'm going to,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm gonna,
And even if it does, that's the thing, is even if it
uh,
does happen where we get super nervous and
yeah,
excited and we're da da da,
yeah,
for one, let's refer to it as being really
excitement and not
excited and not
nervous. Yeah,
and not
yeah, yeah.
nerves, right? But when we do that, which could certainly happen, we have to remember that when we walk away from it, we're not concerned about what they think about that exchange. And then we need to check in with ourselves to make sure that we can be okay with what just transpired. Because humans, we really only have a couple of choices in this life experience. We can continue to look at the problem and feel crappy, or we can look at the other end of the stick, which also might mean that we're going to make conscious decisions to change our behavior. There's one sure way to make sure that it never happens again. There's one sure way, and I'm not suggesting
Yeah,
that's what we
yeah, yeah.
do, particularly in this case, because we're talking about the goods. But there is an alternative to it, is we don't need to address it at all. We can be good morning, good afternoon, hello, goodbye. We don't have to address it at all, which would 100% at least eliminate any potential embarrassment we might feel after we engaged. But that's not you either,
No, no, no.
right?
Yeah, and that's the thing with it. I mean, it's two things that you said. First of all, confidence, which
Mm-hmm.
don't know why it gets me, and it's somebody that you know, it, well,
Let's talk. Let's talk
that's
about the
weird.
words you're
Yeah, yeah,
saying to
yeah, I
yourself.
know, right? Like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got to work on that. Because
And we'll go
generally,
back
usually, I
to,
don't give a crap what anybody thinks, right? But
it's why I asked you earlier about what makes Martin's ground better than your ground to walk on. And it is, and I get it, because he's an amazing curler. He's a wonderful human being. I've never met the man, but you can tell that hearing interviews with him and hearing him speak, that he's likely a very kind person. So I get all of that. He is top tier in his field.
for
But
sure.
so are you. you're also top tier in your field. Now, again, you're not curling, you're doing something else, but you are top tier in your field. So why, and I would say the same thing with the person at work. What makes you less than that person? Like
I,
nothing.
I well,
But why do you see it that way?
yeah, I feel less worthy.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah, yeah,
right. But
yeah, yeah.
why?
I,
For what? For what reason?
I don't.
I got a better question. When you look at those folks, what is it about them that puts them on a different level?
Just like everything, like the titles and the way he carries himself and all the just scares. Like it's I know, and I hear the words coming out of my mouth because
It's perfect.
no, I know it, and the same could be. I mean, the same could be. He worked his way up, did all this stuff. Well, I've done the same thing, right? Like I can hear
Exactly.
saying, I can hear going,
Exactly.
okay, so what really makes him more worthy than me? Yeah, I can hear it. I can hear
Yeah.
it. Yeah,
And that's what's partially contributing to the nervousness when we speak to them, because for whatever reason, subconsciously, we have this belief system that they're better than
yeah,
you are or
yeah,
we
yeah.
are. And that's just simply not true. At their core, they are exactly the same. They're kind and honest and caring and compassionate. You are all of those things too. Now, in the organization, for example, did they build a business and grow a business? And of course they did, but they still can't do that without you. You're equally as important in the environment. Now, again, are there different
Yeah,
levels? Are
yeah,
there different
yeah.
responsibilities? Yeah, sure. And then can he approve, or I'm assuming, right? Can he approve things that are over our limit? Yes, sure can. Love that. Love that. But when we're looking at other human beings, we're not looking at their achievements. We're not looking at their business that they built. We want to appreciate who they are at their cores. And we can appreciate that their desire to build and grow and expand and make things bigger, that all came from here too. It came from the same bucket. There would be literally nothing stopping you from opening a business and doing the same thing, other than potentially desire. I don't want to do
Yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, I believe in what we do and what the company's values are and all that sort of stuff, right? So, I
Yeah.
yeah, like I- yeah, yeah. As
Yeah.
the saying goes, they put their pants on one leg at a time, right? And my smart ass response to that is, "No, sit on the edge of the bed, lift both feet, pull it up. Come on." Like that's
Well, and
yeah,
again, that's just fun
yeah,
though,
yeah,
right? Like you're just having fun in that. And I think it's important to remember that when we are having fun, again, it's not for any reason. We're not doing it to get a laugh out of you. If I'm truly having fun and I say something funny, you're gonna laugh. I don't need to make you laugh. If we're somebody who is really nervous and awkward and we say something, that's going to be a 50-50 hit or
yeah,
miss. And depending the number of people in the room could also depend on where it lands. Some folks could be like, I don't really like that kind of humor. And other folks are going to be over belly aching, laughing in the corner. I know, I've been there. I've done it with you. where you've said something that made me laugh so hard that but not everybody's going to find it humorous, but I think it's hilarious. Right.
Yeah,
But it's why,
I
yeah,
think you're right. I think yeah, the scenario or the location and the one-on-one, I think I'm a like a yeah. Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Um,
And again, we don't want to take away from the amazing curlers and the amazing hockey players and the amazing people we have at work. They've obviously worked very hard to be where they're at, and they've dedicated their lives and their experience to be that. So we don't want to take away from that. We do admire and appreciate that. You don't get to downplay your contribution in the experience and feel good.
True. True. All right,
Yeah.
more work to do.
Always in this experience. I mean, always. We're at time. So we'll close out with that. So we are not in this experience for the pleasing of others. We're here in this amazing human form where we get to make decisions and take part and go with the flow through this experience. And the easiest way for us to do that is when we do a little bit of that prep work about our intentions and where we're at and how we're going to start our day and our list of aspects that we can go to appreciate. It becomes easier and easier with time. But our goal in this experience is simply to feel the best that we can possibly feel. And for us to be successful in that, that's when we have to check in with those words that we use and that behavior that we put out and the narrative we're saying to ourselves. And I could tell immediately that the disconnect was because we were inadvertently putting them up here and somehow we were here. And that's going to create a little bit of discord immediately because that isn't the truth. Now, I mean, if I put you up against somebody like Mr. Martin when it comes to curling, yeah, he's going to probably win at that. I mean, well, he's going to win at that. But I would challenge dropping him into your role in your work and say, hey, knock this out of the park, would you? Highly unlikely.
True. And unconditional. Keep
Unconditional. We
forgetting
have to
that
be
word.
unconditional.
Keep forgetting that. I have a new sticky note tomorrow saying sticky note.
I like the sticky
If
notes.
any of our listeners have any questions or comments or topics you want us to tackle, please leave your comments below. Until next time.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks.
Thank you, Kathy.